Hello guys, I hope everyone is having a great day so far. Today we're going to go over the basics of CT positions and where you can hold best in a team format. To do this, I'm going to break down Mirage CT side into 3 different sections: B site, mid, and A site. Here is a more of a standard CT setup, I would say, for the majority of teams that play this map. They're going to be having the one player on B who will just be jump spotting. There will also be one player towards short who can be looking towards chair and helping out the connector and window player if needed. But he's mostly going to be focused on being able to rotate back to B fast if required in that situation. You'll have a player in window who will either be warping or rifling potentially. Most of the time they're going to get smoked off depending what level team you're up against. Then you'll also have a connector player who can react accordingly. So if the T's, for example, throw window smoke or a top mid smoke, or there's heavy presence towards mid, that CT player can just drop a one-way smoke in connect and create that pressure on the T's to make them play more safe. Make sure these 3 players in mid play off each other very well with calling for flashes and making sure you don't take solo duels as much as you can. I know it can be hard sometimes, but if you try use your numbers here, you can catch off the T's a lot. Again, with the CT player in the situation playing ticket, you're just going to be jump spotting towards ramp and palace and just getting the contact, and then as soon as they come out on A, you'll be playing more for the retake. In this setup, you'll be taking early mid control in this situation. You should be playing 1 on B, 4 in middle, and 0 on A early. So you're playing completely for this A retake and no one there to stop any initial pushes at all. So you have that player in connector who's probably most likely going to throw a smoke down and try peek underpass in this situation and help towards mid. Then you have one window who'll be trying to get a pick towards top mid, obviously. And then you have one person coming from ladder who'll hopefully be jumping through window up into ladder to be there fast. If this isn't possible, and then just run around towards short with that second B player. And then those 2 players on short are going to peek and swing around together and make sure they'll be ready to trade with the player bottom connector and also the one window. After you get this area of the map, you can then rotate back towards A if they're going heavily out on A and play for the retake. Here we're going to be looking at a 2-2-1 setup with 2 towards B, 2 middle, and 1 towards A. We're going to be having the first player on B playing towards car, who's just going to be jump spotting, playing for info as well. Then you'll have a second player on B short who'll be waiting and having a crossfire set up just to support that B player on car to make sure he can't get run down as easily. This strategy is more to play around retaking A, okay? So you'll have this set up if you want to play more for a retake on A and not contest the initial fight. With the 2 players on mid, you'll have one in ladder room, which can either jump up solo or be boosted up in there. And then you'll have one towards jungle. Make sure he's positioned exactly where I've put him on the minimap so you can just watch top connector and also not be exposed to a palace AWP if there is one. If the enemies go for a execute in this situation, the CT player is just going to be jump spotting towards ramp and palace to make sure to get the information when they run out, and then as soon as he gets the information, he can play for the retake and wait for his team to rotate. So here we're going to be looking at a 3 towards B, 0 mid, and 2 towards A setup. Even though it says on here that there is 0 mid, so you have one boosted up on short on B, and then that player will be holding towards chair or bottom mid, and then the second player will be holding towards the bench jump up just to cover that CT player and make sure he doesn't get caught off from multiple angles. You'll then have one above or underwood on A, and one playing CT jump spotting for info on ramp. The player on CT on A can support this player above or underwood with flashes, smokes, and whatever else he needs. The player on B will simply just be jump spotting and playing around info, reacting as if the T's push. He will drop a smoke at his feet and try to stay alive and wait for the rotation to come in. Here is another 2 on B, 2 on mid, and 1 on A playing retake A setup as well. In this situation, you're going to be taking early mid control, okay? So to do this, I don't have an exact way you want to do this. However, I've seen a lot of teams in the past use the Astralis top mid smoke with a Molotov straight behind it and the flash up just to get that top mid area. You can have the player who's sitting on like that stairs area on middle, just watching underpass, playing anti-flash. So if they throw a flash out top mid, he will not be blind by that flash. There'll also be a player here on short just watching behind him and getting false contact. If that player on short gets flashed off, then the player on mid can swing around and take the duel. The player on CT again will just be jump spotting towards ramp and palace to get the information and play retake and wait for his team to rotate and help him out. The 2 players in B again, one will be jump spotting and one will be playing towards looking towards apps. If the second B player isn't needed and you're getting some solid information towards mid or A, then this player can rotate through kitchen towards window and help out the players if needed. If the T's are going towards A a lot of the round and you want to create more of a stack towards this position, this is a great setup you can do with 2 towards B, 0 mid, and 3 towards A. Even though it says 0 mid on here, that short player will be looking bottom connector, and the player on triple on A will be looking into connector as well, okay? So preferably, the player on short will have an AWP, and they would have the 1B player who just be jump spotting again, playing off reactively and just trying to stay alive, just buy as much time as possible. The point of these 3 players on A, you'll have 1 default who can just be spotting around palace and ramp area, and then you have 1 either above or underwood, and you can play off of those 2 players very well. You'll have 1 player on triple that will have a crossfire with that player on short as well to make sure no one can just sneak up connector. In this situation, I want you to note, you do not shoot out the murder hole vent, okay? So you leave that unbroken, and then the 2 players in B are just going to run through kitchen early. This way, you do not have to be watching window, okay? The only worry I would have, if they boost up into window and do not break this, they can still walk into jungle, so you need to be aware of that, whoever is playing triple, or even if you're above wood in that situation. You can then react, depending if they break this vent, you will know someone is in that position, and if they don't, then obviously they cannot be towards CT spawn, however they can be jungle. I hope you guys enjoyed this new series I've created. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and if you want me to carry it on or not. I hope this helps any new teams out there that are wanting to do these CT setups, and I hope it can really give you a new perspective on how you can play CT or Mirage. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.